Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for FL Studio that can make your life easier and improve your workflow, and there's just some cool things that you probably didn't know. I've been using FL Studio for over 10 years now, and a lot of these things I didn't even realise until this year. So let's get straight into the first tip. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you is just a really quick thing you can do that's going to save you a lot of headaches and a lot of crying when you lose all your work that you've spent hours on and then Fruity Loops decides to crash and you lose everything. So a good precaution is to go into Options, File Settings, into the File tab, and then the very first thing is Backup, Auto Save. So here you can choose it to automatically save your project every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes or 5 minutes, or whichever one of these you prefer. So I've just got mine set on every 10 minutes at the moment, but I've also got into a habit of saving before I do any major changes to the track, or if I'm going to do some big changes and like rearrange the track or change a sound, I'll sometimes save it as a new version, so if I change my mind I can then go back to the last version that I had. Alright, so this next tip is about getting your sounds into your project, and this absolutely blew my mind. I could not believe, after 10 years of using FL, I didn't even realise you could do this, and I've been doing things the long way. So check this out. Normally, if I wanted to swap my bass or my stab or something, I would be dragging the sounds from the browser over to here. And if I didn't like that, I'd have to go on the next one and drag that, and then the next one and drag that until I find something that I liked. But there's a much easier way. So while you're playing the sound, I could be playing this pattern. So I've got my bass and my stab and some drums here. And while I'm playing through, if I hold shift and then click on a sound, and I keep shift held in, I can then use the up and down keys to go through the different sounds, and it'll automatically put them straight into my project. So I'll show you what I mean. If I play this and then I hold shift, I can flick through my sounds. So I'm going to change the stab. So I was just holding shift and using the down key there to go through the samples in my browser, and when I'm done I just need to let go and it's already in there, I don't need to drag it over. So that's a good way of picking the sounds and being able to hear what they sound like in your song straight away, instead of just flicking through them here. Because sometimes you might think a sample sounds good and then when you drag it in it doesn't sound that good in your pitch that you've got on your MIDI, or sometimes it might not sound very good and you might not bother using it, but it might have sounded really good when you put it into your song. So this is a much better way of doing things, and you can do that with your drums or your bass or whatever you want. You can just hold shift and use the up and down keys, but you need to make sure you're selected on the sound that you want to swap. So if I wanted to swap the bass, I would just click on the bass here, and if I open the sample properties here, you'll actually be able to see the sound changing as I do it. So I only found this out a couple of weeks ago and I use it all the time now. I find it much easier than using your mouse and having to flick through them and then drag them in. Alright, so this next one is useful for cleaning up your project. If you've been working with loads of audio files on your playlist, like vocals or crashes or effects, sweeps or anything like that, and then you decide not to use them in your project, so like maybe I've tried these and I don't want them, and then I delete them. When I go into my channel rack, they'll all still be there, so they won't be gone. I might have deleted them off the playlist, but they'll all still be here. So to clean it up and get rid of them quickly without having to go through one at a time, the quick way is to go onto Tools, Macros, and Purge Unused Audio Clips. So any audio clips that you've had on the playlist and then not used will be deleted. This only works for audio clips, so that's different from the samples and the VSTs. If you want to delete them, there's a different way. But if you want to get rid of these samples, so at the moment I've only got one pattern and I've not used any of these bottom four. So if I wanted to get rid of them but I didn't know which ones I'm not using, I could go onto Tools, Macros, select Unused Channels, and then that's going to find these ones that I'm not using. and then I can hold Alt and Delete on the keyboard, and then that'll get rid of them for me. Alright, so this next tip can save you a bit of time when it comes to naming your patterns and keeping everything organised. So often I like to set up my drums and stuff all together in one pattern like this. So instead of doing the kick on this one and then moving to a different one and doing the hi-hat, I'll put them all in this one. And then if I name everything, so I'll call this hi-hat, and then I'll do bass and stab just to keep it tidy. Stab. And then if I go up to the drop down next to the pattern up the top, I can go to split by channel. And now it's put each of these on their own pattern, and it's got them named the same as they're named here. So now if I go into the playlist, they're all here, so I can just paint them down. This tip is really useful if you've not got the best computer and you're struggling with CPU, things are buffering all the time, or if you just want to save things to audio and edit them further. Like, this is a really quick and easy way to do it. So in this example, I'm using Serum. I've got 2 layers of Serum for my melody, and that can be quite intensive on your CPU. If you've not got a very good computer, this could be going really slow. So at the moment, it's in my song and it sounds like this. But if I want to be able to get rid of Serum and still keep the sound, I can go up to the drop down and make sure I'm on my melody pattern, and then I can go render as audio clip and just click start. And then if I go into my audio clips here, I can drag that in, and then if we have a listen to, this is actually running through Serum, this one. So this is the original one running through Serum, and this is the recorded version. Alright, so this is a trick for when you're working with multiple layers. So for example, you've got a melody with 2 layers like I've got here, and for instance, if you change the note on this one, you would then have to go and copy the notes and put them on the second one as well. And when you go on to do your second melody, or if you've got a few different melodies, you're going to need to make sure that the notes are the same on each of them, so that can get a bit annoying having to keep copying the notes over. So if you go on the add channel button here and click layer, and then I'm going to hold Alt and move this up above the melodies. And then if I click on the layer, and then I select all of my leads that I want to be part of this layer, and then I click Set Children. Then if I put the MIDI onto this bit, it's going to play them through these 2 synths. So I'll just press a couple of buttons on my keyboard. So you could see that the sound was coming through both of them. So now I can just put my MIDI pattern on there, and I can take it off these ones. This is a trick for when you're using the mixer, and it can save you a lot of time. So for example, I've got this vocal sample here, and I've added to the mixer track, and usually on my vocals I'll have, if it's a dry vocal, I'll probably have a reverb, and I'll probably have a delay, and then after that I'll usually have an EQ. And then I'll set my EQ just to cut off a bit of the bass. And if I want to not have to add all them in future, next time when I've got a vocals, I'll probably be wanting the same sort of setup. I can go here now and I can go file save mixer state as, and then I can just call this vocal setup or something like that so I can find it. And then next time I'm in a project or next time I'm wanting to set this up again, I can just go to file, open mixer track state, and it's going to be there. It's going to load up all these. They'll still have all the same setup, all the same settings that I had last time, including the EQ setup and everything like that. So then I can just tweak away and I don't need to add them all again. And if you're wanting to copy all these onto another track in your same project, instead of saving it, you can go to file, and where the save mixer track state is, you can just drag that and drop it onto another channel. And then that's going to copy all of those settings over to the other channel for you. And you can also do this with the individual effects plugins. Instead of just saving the whole channel effects rack, you can go to save preset here, or again you can click and drag and drop that onto one of your other channels. So I hope some of these tips have been helpful for you. If you wanted some more support with your productions, don't forget to check out our Makina production course, where you'll get all the sounds that you need to produce your own tracks. You'll get all of the videos that are in the course, which at the moment, while I'm recording this video, there's over 5 hours worth of videos at the moment and more getting added regularly. And you'll get entry into our private Facebook group where you'll be with all the other up and coming producers, so you can chat with them, collaborate, ask any questions, or request tutorial videos and I can sort them out for you. So I'll leave a link to the Makina production course in the description so you can go and check that out if you want and read the reviews and watch the preview videos and see what's included in the course.